Hello, Green Scene. There's been a lot of talk about when the next Utah medical cannabis pharmacy is opening their doors. To date, there is only 6 out of 14 pharmacies operating, and Utah patients, especially those down south, are asking, when is our next pharmacy opening? To answer those questions, we have a special Salt Lake Q&A today with Bijan Sakaki, General Manager of Beehive's Own. They're the next pharmacy scheduled to open their doors in Salt Lake City. Welcome, Bijan. I know things have been busy for you, so I thank you for giving us your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Very stoked.
I'm just going to get right to it because of the abundance of questions coming our way. When are you guys opening?
Yeah, we're going to be open to the public Saturday, October 20. What is that? 3rd? Saturday at noon.
Saturday at noon
Saturday
we're going to
at
be
noon,
open.
yeah.
Good enough. I'm doing the math in my head, and I can't even do that 2 days away from now. But where's the pharmacy located in Salt Lake City?
It'll be the 24th, Saturday the 24th.
Saturday the
Yeah.
24th. Good.
So our pharmacy is located in Salt Lake City on the west side of the city, 1991 South, 3600 West, right off of the 201 freeway that goes east-west. And we're located conveniently between the 3200 West exit and the Bangerter exit. So if you're coming from the west side, you can get off on Bangerter. If you're coming from downtown, you can get off on 3200 West. If you're coming from the airport, you can take Bangerter. So we're quite accessible from around the city.
Right on. Yeah, it was really easy to get here, and a lot of questions that also have been coming in from our patients is what can they expect when they come through the doors? There's been a lot of hype for the amount of products that you'll have, and then also the different names that will be available too.
Great question. So from an expectation perspective, we're trying to create a unique experience where we're blending a traditional retail experience with a medical emphasis on how we do things. And so you'll find when you walk into our space, most lobbies are generally open to the public. For us, security is a big concern, so if you don't have a medical card, you won't be admitted into our lobby. But once you're in the lobby, we'll be able to buzz you into the retail space. If you have to have a consultation, you'll then be directed into either our indica room, hybrid room, or sativa room. If you've already met with one of our pharmacists, or that requirement's already been met, you can peruse the retail space. We did a really good job of creating an environment where people can walk the retail space, kind of explore different products from different vendors, and then also look at some of the cool high-res macro shots that we have against the wall. And then at that point, they can then engage with one of our pharmacy agents or come in directly, do an online order, and just walk right in and do a pickup.
The environment here is much different than the other pharmacies that have opened up. You get a little bit more cannabis culture, if you want to put it that way, when you walk through the doors. What's the reasoning behind some of that?
Two-part answer on that. One is just our partners and individuals in Beehive, where we come from. So we have deep industry experience in other markets and other states. So learning from what has worked and what hasn't worked in those settings, we wanted to fast track it here in Salt Lake. And also too, the one thing I feel like a lot of people are missing in the space is the culture. You know, this is an industry that has been stemmed from federal prohibition. Everyone has been doing this behind closed doors for the last 20, 30, 40 years. So now that this is socially acceptable in an environment which is driven by the Department of Health, we want to make sure that we're not losing that culture even though we're going into a pharmacy. And so you'll see we're a pharmacy, but we're calling it a pharmacy because everything is coming from the farm. And so we want to take that traditional medical experience and blend it with really the roots of the industry. And so I think our team did a really good job of coming together and accomplishing that.
In bringing the culture out too, you can see that kind of falls forward onto the staff as well. Walking in here, you have a lot of people that we recognize from Salt Lake City. How did you gather your staff?
I'm a big believer that there are no accidents. You know, you meet people in the space, they change your life in a positive, negative way, and that will always open up more doors. So a lot of the people that we've found here, they've found us, and we've found them in other lives. And so from a partnership perspective, our CFO is a huge piece of the local entrepreneurial space in Utah. From owning Mill Creek Coffee, we have a lot of deep-rooted connections to Salt Lake City. And starting a coffee company in Utah, everyone thought that he was crazy. And so similarly, we're starting a cannabis company in Utah. It's a little bit taboo. Our other partner, who spent a lot of time in Utah, went to BYU, spent time at Goldman Sachs, is now running High Times Magazine, and also lives here in Utah in Daybreak. So from a partnership perspective, we really found each other. And from a staff perspective, which we also view as partners, they also found us. And so a lot of our staff have taken the initiative to reach out, find their niche, and add value to our organization. And we hope to also add value to their lives. And so from an alignment perspective, we found them, they found us, and I think that we're always looking to add like-minded individuals to our team.
Pharmacies that have opened up as cannabis has become accessible here in the state have had the luxury of having an abundance of products to unleash onto the patients. Right now, there's a lack of products pretty much in every pharmacy that's open, from flower to tinctures and even cartridges. What products will you guys have that others won't?
So we will have a handful of products that will be exclusive to just Beehive and our Beehive partnership companies. Primarily, we have worked with all the 8 cultivators here in the state. They're very fortunate. They're open to work with us and help other pharmacies get live. We're also working with a handful of processors that are kind enough to offer us their SKUs and also make things for us under our brands. From a availability standpoint, we are going to be launching one of the more culture-heavy brands called Sugar House Selects through our platform. And we're also going to be launching cookies within the state of Utah. And so we feel like these are 2 really large culture-based brands that other pharmacies and other processors and cultivators will see and start to navigate appropriately through. But we also are going to be bringing a lot of unique pieces of hardware and just general methods of consumption. So for example, we're going to be launching a device you'll see on Salt Lake City, I'm sure, at some point. One of the more effective ways to vaporize flower in a convenient manner. So we're launching with a company called Omura, which is, I actually have a device here. Be happy to show you.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, there's a handful of products. To name a few would be cookies, Omura, Sugar House Selects, and we're also looking at bringing brands like Sherbinsky's, some exclusive genetics to the state. And we're also fortunate enough to be working with cultivators and processors that are allowing us as a retailer to carve out some of those unique situations for us.
Those are some exciting names that you brought up, and you probably blew some of our audience's minds by even saying the word cookies. Some of them are probably scratching their head wondering how you're even able to pull something like that off. Can you let us know?
Yeah, so Cookies is an anomaly of a brand. They've done a great job building their brand out of culture. They're using music, they're using art, they're using other industries to collaborate. And part of our partnerships of finding one another, we'd worked very close with Berner and some of his organization in other markets. And from a licensing perspective, Salt Lake City has been blasting Berner's music for years. Cookies is a staple in the city. You walk around down the street, you'll see people in Cookies t-shirts, they'll have Cookies tattoos. It's a really unique situation that other brands strive to reach that notoriety, and everyone's just scratching their head like, how did they build this thing? And so, our relationships with the Cookies team, their investment groups behind them, we're all enabling us to be successful in those licensing agreements.
Right. And that's an exciting name, and especially one you wouldn't expect to make its way into Utah cannabis this early. But what's also more exciting from my point of view is seeing brands like Sugar House Selects be created, almost following in the footsteps of these cookie brands, and something that's specific here to Salt Lake City. What can you tell us about that flower?
So Sugar House Selects is the epitome of Utah cannabis, in my opinion. You know, we have a really unique group of partners in that team, and all rooted from Utah. And so the name Sugar House Selects is notorious with Utah. You know, sugar houses where a lot of us have lived, a lot of us were born, and now that we've gone out and learned in other markets and other industries, the team was able to come back and over the last 12 months really go to market with a brand that we feel like embodies Salt Lake City's cannabis culture. So for the last several years, the other partners in Sugar House have been really building the genetic library. You know, when people think genetics, you know, they think indica sativa hybrid. They don't realize that within each strain, there's different phenotypes. And so Sugar House Selects was derived from essentially popping seeds, finding different characteristics within each of those phenotypes, and then leveraging that one strong pheno that we like, and then enabling other people to grow that cut. And so, you know, if you've been around the last couple of years, you'll see Sugar House Selects has been in California, you know, it's been in Barcelona. There's a lot of the web has been spun in a lot of different ways. And when we look at the culture aspect of it, you know, Moonlight, Garden Supply, Looking Glass, those are also hubs for the culture here, and not just the cannabis side of things, but being the first hydroponic shop in Salt Lake City 5, 6, 7 years ago, people were thinking, what is going on? And so we're very fortunate to have this collaborative team between members in retail space, cultivators, and just general industry. So keep your eyes out. I know the Sugar House team is eager to talk more about what we're doing, and I don't want to share too much information and spoil anything. But right now we're going to have 5. Sugar House will have 5 very unique strains. These are all grown under the Zion's cultivars cultivation team, and we're super stoked to work with them. They're amazing cultivators, amazing people, and I think all in all, it's just going to raise the bar for all the other cultivators, you know, that are putting out product right now.
With all this excitement behind these products and stuff that you're going to be bringing up, how can we let our patients know to get ready for this Saturday? Do you have a website up? Patient registration? Should they make phone calls, I suppose?
So our website will be going live today. We're just working through a few minor kinks. A lot of our strategy has been focused on getting the store to where it is right now, and then essentially just turning the switch on and hopefully going live with no issues. So our website will be beehivefarmacy.co. You'll be able to pre-register online, which I think will be preferred for all patients initially, just to mitigate any bottlenecks when you show up. We don't want people lining up waiting for us to create patient profiles and do basic data entry. So we're going to be pushing for the next 2 days to be pre-registration online. That will allow us to create patient profiles. And then if you are within a specific geographic region and you are traveling, give one of our team members a shout out, just so we can confirm product availability. I notice a lot of people that are traveling from rural areas, whether it's Ephraim, whether it's up north or out west. You know, you have a 2.5 hour, 3 hour transit time, and unfortunately, product can also be sold within that time frame. So, if you do live in an outside area, just reach out to us. We'll let you know what we have in stock. You'll be able to view our inventory online. You can also purchase and add to your shopping cart online, and do a pre-order for a pickup. So if you also are cannabis curious and you're not so driven to coming in and looking at some new brands, just come in with an open mind. You know, we have great pharmacists. We're going to be launching our patient journals as well, which it will essentially be a blueprint for a patient journey. So if you come to any pharmacist, purchase any product from any processor, it will allow you to essentially serve your own, be your own, choose your own adventure, if you will. So the efficacy, what you liked, what you didn't like, because cannabis is so new right now that what works for some people won't work for other people. And so we want to be able to have the flexibility for patients to navigate their own endocannabinoid system appropriately. So we're trying to get as many tools as we can with patient journals, with terpene information. So if you are cannabis curious, come through. You don't have to be in the cannabis culture. You don't have to know everything about every brand. We want to create an environment where our friends and family feel safe, and that when they leave comfortable and they leave safely, and they're not leaving wondering what I'm going to take. Is it going to send me to the moon, or is it truly going to help me enable my healthcare to be a little bit more natural as opposed to some of the synthetics that are out there.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Bijan, for being on, and I'm excited for Saturday, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us. You guys have done a great job, and I can really tell, everyone who's in this for the right reasons. I can tell you guys are passionate about journalism, you're passionate about cannabis, and so we're happy to support you guys in any way, shape, or form. So we're very lucky to have you guys in the scene, so thank you.
Likewise. All right, Bijan. Appreciate you, my
man.
man.
Thank you, Rio. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
They be telling you, building a bind in your mind, don't know what to do. It's not a crime, be obliged, take what comes to you. You'll be fine, in fact, shine with who's close to you. There's ample time, don't rewind, this is life, that's why I immerse myself. There is a possibility, carefree from your burdens, away from your hurting. If we could only see the outcome of sacrifices, few and far